So what is a hot take?
What do you think is a hot take?
Parenting advice?
That's what you think a hot take is? Are you not on TikTok?
So we don't do sleepovers.
We'll do all of the activities and we'll even decorate the house to look like it's a sleepover. We'll have the mattresses. We'll do the little teepee.
I mean, you do most everything in a sleepover except sleeping over.
Yeah.
So
If you invite one of my kids to a birthday party, then I would bring the whole family. I was not going to allow my toddler to go to a birthday party by themselves. There was no adults that were watching because there's 20 kids and there's maybe 2, maybe 3 adults. I'm Jeena.
I'm Drew.
And welcome to the Hey There Parenthood podcast. Hey There Parenthood is a podcast that fosters diverse, inclusive village for raising confident and loved children. I am so excited for our episode today. I feel like it's going to get us a lot of controversy because it's all about parenting hot takes. And what's crazy is just like, obviously we're all human beings. We all have different reasons behind why we do certain things. But for some reason, whenever it comes to parenting, people just go like up in arms. And they're like, can't believe you do that. That's horrible. And I'm just like,
man. And I think you know this because I think some of these hot takes we'll talk about today, you've talked about previously.
In the past, yeah.
In the past on social media. Some of them you have been met with support. I think some of them you have really been met with pushback. I remember one of our hot takes got picked up on the local radio. And like it went so viral, like the local radio started like asking its audience, like, what do you guys think about this? Would you do this?
Yeah.
And most people just pushed back negatively on it, I think.
But what's so funny is here in the U.S., people pushed back on it. I started reading. It got so big, it started picking up in international news. And internationally, I think there were some, like, a lot of Latin countries, like Mexico, like there was a Mexican news article. And the comments underneath it were like, why is this such a big deal? This is what we do all the time.
Americans are so weird.
Yeah, it was really kind of like, it made me realize like what I do parenting wise is very cultural as well. Mm-hmm. So it's not just based on like experiences that I've been through. It's also some of it is culturally, like how I was brought up. And I think it's just very interesting that people just fail to recognize that there are people who live and grew up in different places. There are reasons why certain ethnicities, certain countries, certain races will do certain things. And I think that it's typically to protect the child. And it's not, you may not always like it, but there's always a reasoning behind it. And if we listen to those reasonings.
So you're saying culturally, you think culturally it's to protect children?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you think of like the Black community, why we have talks about how to like act or what to do in front of the police, like I would count that maybe as a like cultural thing. Like in the Black community, we tell our children like this is how you need to act, and for police, listen to what they say, keep your hands very like, you make sure that your hands are very seen, don't make any sudden moves. We have the talk with them, and I think that could count as a cultural thing in the Black community that we do. A lot of the times, if we're able to hear why people do certain things or why some parents do certain things, it's not so that way you have to agree with them, but just understanding makes it maybe easier to understand why. So a parent may choose to do a certain thing or not do something.
I do feel like it helps being open-minded and just trying to listen first before you judge.
But
I do know a lot of people just hear the sentence or the statement and then immediately judge right or wrong, good or bad, and then make up their own mind before actually even listening to what it's about or why someone would do that and stuff like that.
And so we'll end up talking about what got me on the news everywhere, the one hot take. But, you know, a lot of this, like I said, you don't have to agree with it. You don't even have to do it. But I think it's just sometimes hearing other people's views or reasons why they do certain things, it just makes you think and then maybe make adjustments or changes or know that, hey, hearing them say that they want to do this or they do this, I know the complete opposite is right for my family, and that's also okay too.
Yeah. Also, when we'll get into this later, but also when you interact with other parents or their kids and stuff, you may understand a little bit better why they're doing what they do. And then you can adjust a little bit better with that.
Yeah. But before we start talking about our parenting hot takes, I'm so excited for my part, my segment, because I don't know if everyone knows, I'm from Jersey. Like, I'm from the north and Drew's from the south. And so a lot of people will always ask me about my accent and why I talk the way I talk. And a lot of it is because I'm from Jersey, but also I grew up with immigrant parents, and my parents were really particular about enunciating and saying words really like the right way. And a lot of it was because I can just tell you, my parents were always just like, we came to this country to give you a better life. We don't want you talking a certain way so people think that you're uneducated. And so then I got spankings as a kid if I didn't say things the right way. I remember even as a kid too, one of the words that I was like, and like, I said a lot, and I still say it a lot too. I'd be like, and then my dad's like, no more, that's improper. And I got a spanking for it.
saying like.
Yeah, like too many times.
Totally.
I don't think I was saying it like that. But he was really like particular about how we said words. And so he was very like, you have to enunciate really, really well. And so then I grew up speaking the way I speak because my parents were just very like, yeah, particular. But they were very particular. And I understand why they did it. But I also feel like, and that's why I get certain comments of like, why do you talk like that? You sound like not like someone who I would expect who is talk like that, the way that you look. And I'm like, my dude, I grew up speaking.
She's also subliminally racist as well, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. Because they're saying, like, I can't speak a certain way because I look a certain way. And I grew up, like, English was my third language. I grew up speaking French and Creole. Creole was my first, French. And then I spoke English. I learned English when I went to, when I went to first grade, and that's when I learned like English. And I went to like a little Catholic school, and the nuns were like teaching me how to speak English. And that's when I learned. And then I had parents who were very particular. Like, they did not want me to speak a certain way. They wanted me to be very, like, enunciate my words. They wanted me to just have a certain, like, they just were very particular. And it's just how I speak. And, it's just kind of how it is.
Is that your segment?
It's not my segment. My segment was really going to be like, how do you pronounce these words? Because I'm going to ask you certain things, certain words. Okay. I'm going to spell it, and then you tell me how you say it, and then I'll tell you how I say it.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is AUNT.
Oh, now I'm thinking in my head how I'm going to say it. But I would say aunt.
Okay. I think I say aunt. Right? I feel like I say aunt or aunt. I think I say both.
I say aunt. I'm pretty sure I say aunt.
Okay, I think you do. I think you do say aunt. So AUNT, aunt.
Aunt.
Okay. PECAN.
Oh, I always say pecan. Pecans. Let's go get some pecans.
Pecan. Well, I
say like a can. Pecan.
Yeah. I don't know if that's like very northern.
I actually don't know either.
Or pecan. But you say
pecan. No, I think I just changed it.
Yeah, you did.
Let's go make some pecans.
Yeah, there we go.
Pecans.
That's how you say. You say
pecans.
All right. Okay. Here's the next one. CRAYON.
Crayon.
Huh?
Crayon.
Say it one more time.
Crayon.
Crayon?
Or crown.
You say crown. I've caught you plenty of times.
Let's go color with crowns.
Yeah, you say crown.
It's because you're spelling it. I'm thinking about how to say it.
It's crayon.
Yeah, crayons.
You're saying
crayons. Crowns.
Crayon.
Yeah, you color with crowns.
Yeah, crayons. Okay.
Ask me the definition instead this time, instead of spelling it. Let's see if I say it different.
Why?
Like for crayons, it'd be like, what's the thing you color with?
Okay. Where's the place that you go into this building and you learn about, usually when we go to new cities, we usually visit
museum.
What?
Museum.
Museum?
Yeah, museum.
Why you say that so weird?
How do you say it?
Museum.
Yeah, museum.
No, you're still saying it differently than I am.
What do you say? Museum?
Museum.
Museum.
Okay, and then this one. This is what I love to get on my ice creams with some pecans.
Oh, caramel.
What?
Caramel.
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 It's caramel.
It is so nice. It's caramel.
Caramel.
Caramel. There is an extra A. There's a whole bunch of other.
Yeah, that's how I know English is not your first language. Because you try to pronounce all the little letters in there. That's not how English works. English is
Tell me.
They spell it a certain way and then you say it however you want. That's how English works.
Okay, well, we just established Drew has a problem with how I say things because it is definitely caramel.
Should I revert to my southern accent for this podcast?
Y'all should hear Drew's accent.
Caramel.
Caramel, pecan,
Pecan.
aunt, crown, museum. I don't know.
Yeah, museum.
You never really truly had like your thick Southern accent when we met.
No, once we moved to Illinois when I was in kindergarten. Mm-hmm. And we got made fun of a bunch for our Southern accent. So me and my brothers lost our Southern accent pretty fast. You know, sometimes you can hear it here or there, but for the most part, like from 1st to 4th grade, I did speech to work on how I talked, and then we lost our Southern accents.
You know what's so funny? You got made fun for your Southern accent. I got made fun of for my French accent and my French Creole accent as a kid. So I lost my French Creole accent like real fast too. But then I hear like my dad talk.
But you lost your Jersey accent too.
Yeah, but that was like. I mean, I don't know. People can tell that I'm not from the South whenever so they can tell I'm from, like, I'm
right, but you don't have a Jersey accent.
I don't have my Jersey accent. It's not as thick as it used to be when I was younger, but I also feel like I definitely don't have a Southern accent. I mean, I could do a Southern accent. Like,
can you let me hear?
No.
Yeah, you said you could do it. Let me hear.
I can't. I meant to say I can't. I can't do a Southern accent.
Yes, you can.
I cannot.
I want to hear it now.
I don't have one.
Next podcast, y'all, it's going to be all Southern accents. So y'all get ready.
So truly, we can connect on being made fun of for our accents because that was rough as a kid. It was rough because kids are just not people, but kids were really vicious.
Yeah, I think most kids are.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But it was hard. It was hard.
So I want to tell you guys a story about one of our kids, Badger. She came and we were doing our bedtime routine last night, and she said, "Hey, so-and-so is being really mean to me." I said, "Okay." And Badger's 11, almost 11, right? Yeah, Badger's almost 11.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure she's starting to get like some hormones moving through her body, and I'm sure she's hitting pre-puberty or getting really close because things are making her like mad easier, sad easier. She's just having a wider range of emotions quicker. And so she's like, "Yeah, he's being mean to me." And it made me feel really bad. I was like, "Oh, okay, well, tell me what was going on." And so the kid she's talking about is around 6 years old, so a young kid. And she's like, "He said he had a pool, like an in-ground pool, and we could go swim." Now, y'all, it is cold outside too. It's not like hot or anything. She's fully clothed, not ready to swim. And she says, "Okay, let me see the pool." He's like, "Yeah," he's talking up this pool. They go over. He had taken a pile of leaves and bunched them together, and that was his pool, and he was jumping into it. And he was trying to convince, imagination. He was trying to convince all the other kids to come swim at his pool. And so, like, he did, and then, Badger's telling me, and Cal chips in, and she's like, "Yeah, he did the same thing to me." And so I'm like, oh my goodness, like, our girls, like, are thinking this kid is being mean to them, and maybe that's how they're perceiving, but really from her story and what I gathered, he was just trying to play and use imagination.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very
we talked through. I tried not to invalidate her feelings by saying like, "No, you're wrong," or "You shouldn't feel that way." But I think I just tried to give her a different perspective on maybe where that child from his age was coming from. Because there's about almost a 5-year age gap.
That's a big difference.
Imagination can be a lot different with those age gaps. So it's just really important, I think, to talk to your kids and have those moments, and that way they can tell you how they're feeling, and you can kind of give your perspective from kind of an adult perspective, because kids don't always line things up the right way with their imagination and their maturity levels. And so I was just happy to be able to talk her through it. Maybe he wasn't being mean. Maybe he was just trying to play, and those kind of things.
How do you think was she receptive to that afterwards?
I could see her think about it. Like, she thought through it. Like, did I, like, was he being mean? But at the end of the day, she just felt her own feelings. It was like, no, he's mean. And I was like, well, you can always walk away if you need to.
Yeah.
She's like, but not if he's playing with the other kids. I was like,
yeah,
you can still walk away and just come back later, kind of thing. So, I think it's normal kid stuff to work through. Like, if my friends are being mean to me, if they're not being mean to me, I want to play something, they don't want to play it, or they want to play something and I don't want to play it, and having to work through that.
Yeah.
So
it's just typical kid stuff. Oh, poor baby girl. For a kid to have such great imagination. I mean, give it props to that kid. Remember, he had great imagination.
He built a whole pool.
Yeah.
Had a community pool everybody could swim in and roll around, and he was inviting people there.
Roger's gonna be like, I can't believe you're on that kid's side. Like, he had a whole pool.
I think she thought it was mean because she was disappointed she didn't actually get to go swimming.
I don't know if it was that. I think maybe she just felt like she was lied to.
Yeah, which in some ways she was. I mean, it wasn't a pool. Hard.
It wasn't a pool, but like in his mind, it was a pool.
Yeah.
It was a pool.
Yeah. Just like how a cow won't play floor is lava.
Oh my goodness. Because to her, it's so real. For a really long time, for almost a whole year, we couldn't play floor is lava.
Yeah.
Because Kyle thought that like it would stress her out so much.
So she would see the floor is lava,
and so if she would touch the floor, she would throw herself on the ground. I'm gone. The lava got me. And so we had to stop playing. Like, would ask Alexa, play Floor is Lava. And then it would play the song. And it's a fun song, you guys. It's like, we love playing with our kids. And that is a fun song to play. And so it'll say tiptoe. So you tiptoe around the house. And then all of a sudden you have to jump on a piece of furniture. Because as soon as like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the floor is lava. Danger. I'm like singing the whole song because I like it so much. It's so much fun, but Cal was not for it because I think one time she got caught in the lava. She was crying the whole day, and I still feel bad she was crying. I still feel bad, but also it just made me feel, it's amazing to look at children and see in her mind that lava was real and her life was burned off. And she's like, I never want to play the floor is lava ever again. So, yeah, I mean,
good stuff. Kids' imagination.
It's fun. It's so cool to see our kids like go through that whole process. And when they lose it too is really sad.
Yeah.
So like Badger's losing it, and her friends, they still got it.
She could not see the pool and the leaves.
No, she could not. Alrighty. So you're ready for our hot takes?
We're ready.
You ready? Okay. All right. So our very first hot take, which I don't think...
So what is a hot take? Because I feel like I've been hearing you say it lately.
What do you think is a hot take?
Parenting advice.
That's what you think a hot take is?
That's all I hear is hot takes, and then people give parenting advice.
No. Then are you not on TikTok?
I mean, I'm there because I'm part of your family, but... Like, I don't scroll. I think my algorithm is a lot different than yours.
Don't play with me because I think you know what a hot take is.
Hot take is like a piece of advice you're giving out. It's a take on something.
It's not always advice. It's just it's really just your personal opinion that you know more than likely would differ from the majority of society.
Okay.
You knew
now
this.
I know what a hot take is.
You're such a goober. So now that Drew knows what a hot take is, because I'm pretty sure all of y'all knew what it was. Don't you look at the camera like that?
Yeah. Then we know who we are.
Oh, whatever. All right. So our first hot take, I'm pretty sure I was the one that told you like this is something that I really feel like we need to have. I grew up with this, and even though it was really hard as a kid not to be able to do this, I still feel like as an adult, I definitely understand why. And this is
So
sleepovers.
this is something your parents did that you didn't like,
Sleepovers,
that
yes.
you wanted to continue doing with our kids.
Sleepovers.
To do sleepovers.
Not to do sleepovers.
Yeah. So we don't do sleepovers.
Why are you repeating everything that I'm saying?
Oh, it just sounds good right now.
It's not. It's not. So we don't do sleepovers. We
So we never do sleepover with our kids. They have been asking for sleepovers as they continue to get older and have friends, and they've been able to tell friends we don't do sleepovers as well.
Yeah, but we do have a really great option, which is a lateover. And so we still allow them to be able to go. They just do not sleep over. And we don't allow sleepovers at our house either. And so if we do lateover, if like a friend is having a sleepover, we will drop them off and then they don't sleep there. We pick them up at an appropriate time. And then if we are hosting a lateover, what we typically will do is we'll do all of the activities, and we'll even, I guess, even decorate the house to look like it's a sleepover. We'll have the mattresses. We'll do the little TV.
I mean, you do most everything in a sleepover except sleeping over.
Yeah.
So.
And so what we'll do is, we'll have like the little tent. We'll have a mattress and everything. We'll watch the movies, eat all the snacks. And then we tell people, like, and I also like to invite the parents too, because I think it's so important for parents to really kind of know where their child is going to be. So I want to get to know you. I want you to get to know me. Because even though your kid may not be sleeping over, if your kid's spending a lot of time, I think it's just, I don't have a problem for another parent to come in my house and like to stay there, because I would want to do the same thing, because I want to know who my kid is going to be around. And I don't have an issue if a parent were like, hey, you're having a lateover. Like, I usually invite the parents, but I would invite them. The kids will be off, maybe in the room or in like the living room watching the movies, and then we chit chat and I get to know them. And I think it's a really great way to have our kids play, but for me to also get to know who my kids are hanging around while they're at their friend's house as well.
Yeah, and I feel like we jumped right into the solution of not having sleepovers, but I think we should talk through like why, one, that you brought it to me, that we shouldn't do sleepovers, and then why I'm on board with no sleepovers as well.
Go ahead and tell them.
Okay, thank you. I mean, for us, sleepovers, there's too much risk involved with the child's safety. So it really just comes down to like child safety and risk factors for sleepovers. If your kid has 100 sleepovers, but one of those, there's traumatic events that happen, there's bullying, there's SA events, are those other 99 sleepovers really worth that one incident that really could scar your kid for the rest of your life? And we basically came to the conclusion like, no, like you had that conclusion way before. I hadn't, honestly, y'all, I didn't do a lot of parent planning before I got married of like what I would do with my kids and not do and that kind of stuff. And so for me, working through it when Jeena brought it up, I didn't have, just kept an open mind at it. And I didn't already have reservations. Like, this is something that was a core memory of mine that my kids would have to have growing up, or they'd be missing out. I think that's where a lot of people get hung up, is like, I did this as a kid and it's such a core memory for me. I don't want my child missing out on that.
And I understand that. And it is still, I mean, if you still feel like it's still important, like, I'm not going to judge another parent. And so if you feel like, man, that's still worth it, I'm going to put X, Y, and Z in place so that way they can still have that memory, but also still keep them safe, go for it. Like, that's totally fine. We just felt like it wasn't right for us. I do remember, though, too, you know, we had to go through the whole process when we adopted. I've talked to other social workers and stuff like that. And the stories that they would say, and they're like, yeah, as a social worker, I wouldn't allow my children to have sleepovers or go to sleepovers. And like, it, of course, when we adopted, that was way farther down the line when we became parents, but it kind of further reestablished why I don't want to, or why I think it's the right choice. And like, seeing someone who is in and out of people's homes and who have to deal with a lot of maybe not so like not the parent with parents who don't make the best choices, and a lot of them were like, look, you just don't know what's happening at other people's homes. I would not allow my child to just go to anybody's home, and I get that. And I think we just decided it just wasn't for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the kids, I did want to say this really quick on sleepovers. The kids are, it's just one of the rules of the house. Like, if a friend comes up now and is like, hey, let's do a sleepover, they'll be like, no, we don't do sleepovers, but we can do a lateover. Let's plan a lateover. So it just like, that's their core memories that they're unlocking is like lateovers. And they really enjoy them and like, just have a great time at them. And then they're still able to come home and sleep and not, yeah.
I mean, I didn't have my first sleepover. You want to know how old I was?
19.
No.
21.
No.
When we got married?
It was after we got married. I had my first sleepover.
Who?
Remember when it was at church when I invited all of the young, like all the young women in our church over to our house in our basement. And we had a whole bunch of adults. We had like other women there. And then we had, I want to say we had like 22 young girls.
Oh, okay. There's like a disco party or something. I remember you gluing records together for the wall decor and stuff.
No, that was for a girls' night that I had for other women. This is when we watched She's a Man, and I had popcorn, and then I made crock pot like a breakfast casserole. I think I kicked you out of the house because I felt like if I was gonna have that many young women in my home, I did not feel right to have like another man in the house. So I
don't think I was out of the house. I think I was upstairs with the kids.
No, I kicked you out, dude.
Where did I go?
I don't know. That was not my problem either. But I kicked you out, and then we had a whole bunch of adults there, and like other women there, and then we had a bunch of young women, and we watched a bunch of movies, and I think I even invited some of the parents because I was like, I would want to make sure like I want to make sure like all parents feel like they can stay. I didn't care. This is just supposed to be a fun experience because I do understand that there are going to be other people who want to like they're okay with sleepovers, and so I was like, you know what though, like I would want to have like someone say, yeah mom, we can come over. And so I had other moms who did come. So some moms came with their daughters, some just dropped off their daughters, and then we had a bunch of adults, other church members who were women who were staying over. And I think we had I can't remember now, but I think maybe 3 or 4 adults. We all slept in the basement, and it was awesome. We watched She's a Man, had popcorn, had a whole bunch of snacks, and that was my first sleepover ever. It was also the first one that I ever threw, but I loved it, and I understand why people have it. But I mean, I think the only time I would feel comfortable with it is if I was with the sleepover with my child. And like how I did it for my sleepover was I invited the moms too. And some came and some didn't. But I had no problem with the parents that did come. Because, I mean, like, I know that I don't have any bad intentions. But, like, other parents don't know that. And I could understand why some would want to come. So, it was a fun sleepover. It was a fun sleepover. And I can understand why people have such a hard time with the idea of other parents saying no. And so, I get it. I totally get it. But I also felt like, unless I'm going to be there, I don't think it's just a risk I want to take, at least for my child. Oh, so you guys, this is the one that got me in the news.
Hot seat.
In the hot seat. And I want to maybe explain a little bit more on why we have this one. And I will say, we don't do this now. This was when I talked about this, it was talking about in the past. And like this is like a hot, parenting take that I have, and this is only when the kids were young. And this was, if you invite my child to a party and my husband, which when you were working and a lot of times you were travel nursing, so a lot of times you were out of the state. If it was just me, I was not going to allow my toddler to go to a birthday party by themselves. But if I couldn't, like, I had a hard time finding babysitters and babysitters that I could trust. And also, we didn't have the money back then either to pay for a babysitter. And so if you invite one of my kids to a birthday party, then I would bring the whole family. So it would be all my other kids, Badger, Tiger, and Panda. And if someone would invite one kid, and I would.
So when Panda got in kindergarten and the other two were still like in preschool or not at school yet, and so Panda would get a birthday invitation from his kindergarten class, and you would be like, "That's fine, we're all coming."
Yeah, and I wouldn't say we were all coming. I would always ask. There were a couple of times that I asked, and I would tell them like, "Hey, I totally understand if you can't. I like." If you don't have the space, we'll pay for our own, or if you just don't feel comfortable, we'll send a gift kind of thing. And I just didn't feel safe because they would be really young and they would have these parties at these places that I just didn't like. There'll be so many kids I didn't feel right that I would just drop them off. Because like you hear stories of like, hey, I dropped off my kid at this like place and it's supposed to be like a trampoline park, and my kid just walked out. And like there was no adults that could that were watching, because there's 20 kids and there's maybe 2, maybe 3 adults, and kids can get really lost at these places. And so I was like, I don't know if I feel comfortable with that. That's just not me. And so when they were really, really young, I would give the option, hey, are you okay if I bring my other kids with me? I'm going to pay for ours. You don't have to pay for myself or for the other kiddos. If it wasn't okay, and I never like faulted the parents, they would say, hey, no, we only have this much space. And I would say, oh, I totally understand. Let me just send a gift and call it good. And I know a lot of people were so angry about this. And it is cultural thing, because if my kid can't, like they're really, really young, I don't feel safe like just dropping them off places. But also, if I don't know if they'll be able to fully explain if something wrong happened, I just didn't feel safe doing that.
But you had an expectation that if you invite one of our kids, you invite the whole family.
Yeah, that is something that is very cultural. Like in a lot of Latin cultures, a lot of like America is very individualistic. And so it's usually you invite that one kid, you invite that one kid. But like when I was a kid, if someone invited me to a party, it meant the whole family. It meant the whole family. And I get it. Like a lot of Americans are going to be like, hey, that's not how we do it here. I get it. Totally fine. But also, this is my child. And if you're having a party at a place that I don't know, or there are going to be other people, when they were that young, I don't know who's going to be there. I'm not going to just be like, okay, it's my kid. I get it. This is your kid's birthday party. So if you're not okay with it, please, like, that's totally fine. But also, your kid's birthday party doesn't supersede my kid's safety.
Yeah.
And
a lot of the pushback we got was that immediate reaction of, no, if my kid is inviting your kid that's in his class, he's inviting that one kid, not the whole family. What if we don't have room? What if that costs extra money for the host family and those kind of things? And we always dealt with that. I felt like very respectfully, like, hey, we're paying for our own kids.
We would offer before they even like say anything. Hey, like, we're going to pay. That's not on you. It's just, it's just me by myself. I don't have like there were times that we couldn't pay for a babysitter, and then there were times that we couldn't find a babysitter. Yeah. And I would say, we don't have, my husband's not home. He's outside of the state working. And so it's just me, and I don't feel safe just dropping off my kid. So I never expected anyone to babysit my kid. It's not like it's a birthday party. You're not babysitting my child. So yeah, it's just going to be, I know it's going to be one of the things that you guys don't like, but it's also, I mean, I'm the one that has to care for them. I'm the one who has to like worry late at night. And it's just something that I feel comfortable with. Now, Panda's a lot older now. He's like 11, and he has been able to go to birthday parties on his own. But I also it'd be like a lateover. I feel like it's not overnight. I feel like I've talked to him enough that he'll be able to understand what he can and can't do. If something's wrong, like now he has a phone. If something's wrong, he can call me. So I feel a lot more safe now. But beforehand, when they were so itty bitty, and
you keep calling it a phone, and it's a watch.
It's a phone. He can call.
Okay.
Is it bothering you? Because it good.
Because I feel like it's going to get to his head, and he's going to be like, well, I've had a phone for like months now. What's any difference between this phone?
What would be the difference?
It's not a phone. He has a watch he can call us on.
Okay, what's the difference?
Phone with like internet and stuff like that. A phone, you can download games and music.
You can
and
download
internet
apps and games on his watch.
on his watch. Oh,
Yeah.
I need to check that out.
Yeah, he can't download social media on it. Like he can't
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok.
Okay.
But he can do other things.
I just know he's getting preteen and his head is already getting swollen and he thinks he knows the best.
like
And
you.
So, yeah, exactly. But I have the right to feel that way because I'm old enough now.
No.
Yes, that's how that works.
Okay, well then now we know why our son has a big head and he's gotten it from you. Alrighty. Oh, here's another parenting hot take, which we started doing this a while ago. Yes days, which I think you implemented. Yes days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we watched that movie yesterday.
No, it's before even that. We had a yes day before that.
I don't know if we did. I remember it was when around the movie came out that the kids really were like, let's do it. Let's do it. I feel like it was more centered around the movie, at least in my mind.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so. I think maybe we didn't call it yes day, but we'd have days that the kids would get to plan. And
Yeah, maybe we just didn't have a name for it.
Yeah.
But we definitely would have days that the kids get to like pick everything, like from what we're doing to what we're eating to the activities.
It's fun.
Those kind of things.
You get to see your kid personality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've started. It's not full yes days, but I have started with the kids. Like I'm trying at least once a month, which seems too little to me, but I'm trying at least once a month spend time with one of the kids and have like time from like 7 p.m. to as late as they want to stay up. And then they get to pick their favorite snacks or favorite drinks. They get to pick whatever activities. Like me and Cal just had ours and we played Barbie Monopoly. I don't know how she beat me, but she did.
Because she's smart.
No, she's lucky.
Oh,
she rolled
bollocks.
just the right dice.
She is so smart and she
smart.
is good. And she's got some of your luck. I'm not surprised that she beat you, and I can't wait. I can't wait so she can beat you again.
You know, y'all know Monopoly where you have Boardwalk and then the other spaces by Boardwalk. I held that whole side filled up, and I had Barbie dream houses. And if she landed on one of them, she was going to owe me $1,500. And she skipped them every single time, whether it was going to jail, landing on the like community board, or just like completely bypassing all the properties. And then she had one Barbie dream house on one of her properties. It was like the cheap is like the ghetto property that you always land on. It is the purple properties in Monopoly.
They're called the ghetto ones?
Yeah, could that be my parent hot take?
No.
Yes, because they're the lowest, like, you know,
because they're purple.
Yeah. Not because they're purple. Because they're the lowest price. They're the lowest price. I always call them. Anyway, I guess I'll have to refrain from doing that. But she had the lowest priced property, a Barbie dream house. I still had to pay $800 to her.
Oh, poo-hoo for Drew.
And so I was winning. I had like $3,000. She was down to like $1,000. And then I landed in her Barbie dream house property and had to pay her all kinds of money.
Raking that money, little girl. Take your daddy for all he's got.
And so she won.
Good for her.
So she was super excited.
Good for her.
And then we watched movies and stuff. So that was really fun. So yeah, yes days. We've done yes days at home. We did a yes day on the Disney cruise.
Oh, that was so much fun. That was because you know what's so crazy? Because I ended up watching a show where they had a yes day, and it was like a psychologist would like have certain days to plan for the parents, and the psychologist planned a yes day for the parents, and he said that based on the kids' choices on what they want to do on their yes day can really tell you a lot about how they feel about your parenting and how they've. And you want to know what our kids asked to do on yes day on the cruise? Tell them, Drew.
From what I remember, it was a lot of stairs.
They made us
walking upstairs.
All the stairs. I don't know if they just really enjoy seeing us be in pain.
I think they like beating us at stuff. Like, because I don't let them beat me at games. I like play to my fullest intent.
That's a parenting hot take right there.
Yeah, I don't let, like, Panda still hasn't beat me at chess, and it makes him really mad. But I don't let them win. So I think running up the stairs, because we were racing, we just weren't walking stairs. Let's race to from deck 2 to deck 18, whatever it was, and they'd always beat me. So I think that was part of it, is like hey, we know we can beat dad up the stairs.
Or maybe
Let's
it's just
go.
they think we're lazy.
Could be.
They're like, oh, like I want to do more exercise. And in the winter and fall, well, mostly in the winter, we don't do much outdoor stuff with the kiddos. And so they get to the point where they do want to do more activities. And I think the last time we went on a cruise was in the winter. Because we usually like to go on cruises in the winter. So I think they're just itching to get more.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did that. They wanted to watch a movie. Tiger wanted to watch a movie with everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Panda wanted to jump in the pool with his clothes on.
Yeah. Tiger just likes quality time with us.
Snacks.
All of us.
Who chose food? Someone was like, they all wanted ice cream. I think
Oh,
that's normal.
it was all the
though.
girls.
It's like
All the
sugar
girls,
and
yeah.
treats and stuff.
Which was, I thought it was really interesting. That was shocked me because we have treats around the house all the time. We have bowls of
Yeah,
candy.
we have like sweets. A holiday's always coming around. Easter.
Yeah, I mean, we had this whole bowl of Halloween candy that was there until Easter, and I had to dump it out.
I think it's because they pick their favorites from it. So like,
Oh, yeah.
as a kid, I would eat my favorites and then not have chocolate. So eat like the stale old chocolate just because it's like, oh, some is better than nothing. There are parameters we put around our yes days.
Yeah.
Like,
To that day
be
only.
to that day only. There can't be permanent changes or changes that would permanently change like the dynamic. So like animals, like on yes day, if they say we're going to get a dog, that is not confined to that one day.
So unless we can rent a dog,
We have to stay within the state as well for the most part. Like if they say we want to go to Alaska for a guest day, like it's just not conceivable to get from Georgia to Alaska in one day, fiscally responsibly. We ain't got money like that.
We got money.
We ain't got a private jet we could just jump on and go.
I'm glad we don't have a private jet. Just do a yes day because it is fun.
Really fun.
It is fun. It's fun to see your kids feel like actually they are in control. I can say they feel like in control, but they are in control, and it is that joy that it brings them to feel like mom and dad are letting me, or mom and mom, dad and dad are allowing me to really rule what I want to do this day. Because as a kid, you do feel like my parents are making all the choices, so allowing them to
They
have.
get to do whatever they want.
Oh, wasn't it one of our kids who they would come at night when we were watching movies and why is it you get to eat all the snacks and you get
I'm
to
sure it's Badger and Panda. They sneak down. They sneak down.
why
and
do
be
you
like,
watch all the movies? How do parents just get to do everything?
you get to do whatever you want. Like, yes, I do. When you get my age, you can do whatever you want to.
Okay, here's another one that we have is apologizing to our kids. And this is one that stems from my trauma as a kid. And I was as a kid, whenever I knew something my parents were doing was wrong, or they did something that really hurt my feelings, and they would never say sorry. And I was a kid that really valued words, and I'm I really would have felt really great if my parents could have said sorry for doing this thing. And I could tell that my parents felt bad that they did X, Y, and Z, because they would be like, here's some food, here's this, here's that, or I got you this, but never would say sorry and apologize for what they did. And so then I grew up saying, I will always apologize to my kids if I if I make a mistake or hurt them, intentionally, not intentionally, whatever. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll apologize to them. And that's just something that I just promised that I would do as a parent, as an adult. I don't know. It's just something that I just feel really strongly about.
Do you feel like the kids have respected you for doing that, or do you feel like that they've listened? Do you feel they've respected you when you do that, and then secondly, do you feel like they do whatever was happening again, or have a lower? Do you think they listen to you less after you apologize?
I don't think they listen to me less or anything, but I do recognize that my kids know that I truly respect them as who they are. Because I remember apologizing to Cal, and I was just kind of I'm so sorry, that I didn't mean to do that. I don't remember what it was, but I don't remember the incident around what happened, but I remember having the conversation of apologizing to her, and her just saying, that really hurt my feelings. And I'm just saying, no, you're totally right. You're totally right to feel how you feel, and that it was totally my bad. I'm so sorry. I apologize. What can I do to make it better? And like, I felt like Cal really recognized that I truly cared about how she felt. And as an adult, with someone who has all the power, she saw that I was still willing to do something as small as apologize to her for hurting her feelings. And I wouldn't say that it's made it where they listen to me more, because I don't think it's like more about like, oh, apologize so that they listen to me more. I'm apologizing because I've done something to hurt them, and I'm recognizing that, and it's not a ploy to get them to. It's not a ploy for them to respect me. It's not a ploy to get them to listen to me more. It's just recognizing that I hurt them, and then I'm apologizing. And so,
Yeah, I feel like you do that a lot in the aspect of like treating the kids as their own person, and really in a lot of mature ways. So,
well, they're little human beings. I think we sometimes.
right, but I don't hear you say like, do that because I said to do it and I'm your parent and I'm an adult and you're a kid and do it.
I won't
like
lie. Sometimes I'll like, because I said
sometimes
so.
We're tempted
I try
to
not
because,
to though.
Yeah, if this is the 15th why, like why, and
Yeah.
you've explained it 14 times, and it's like, because I've asked you. Like,
But I don't like that answer.
In general, you do treat them as like, and for better lack of words, like a young adult. You treat them like a young adult with respect and with dignity and as their individual person, and that they're going to be able to communicate with you and talk back and forth. And those kind of things. So
I think it's just important. It's just important. I think I never felt really like, I never felt that I was asked so often as a child to respect adults, but then I often felt very disrespected in very like small moments and small events, and then they weren't really big, but like I just wanted so much like the respect I was asked to give, and I gave to adults as well. Like I wanted to have that, and so I felt like, you know what, it's not gonna hurt me to not only ask for respect, but to give my children the same respect. And anything I'm expecting from my kids, that I should be willing to do the same as an adult. And it's just kind of how I see things. And I know there are going to be some people, especially people from different generations, who like, no, as parents, we set the rules, and like, that's totally fine. I'm setting this rule for our family. And that's the same I'm expecting from my children. I'm going to do the same for my child as well. So if I'm expecting them to do it for me, I will give them the same respect. This is a pure cultural thing. And I feel like other people who are not American are totally going to understand what I'm saying. If you're not American, you can go ahead and keep listening, but you will not understand fully what this means and how I am breaking generational trauma with this one. And this one is, whenever we go to an event, or we go see family, or we go to like this place where there's going to be a lot of people, I do not have my kids, and I say it in Creole or French, salier. So it's, what is this word? Maybe did I write this down? Salier is like, I don't have them, what's the right English word? Like kiss. Greeting. There we go. I don't have them greet every single adult that's there. So like when I was a kid.
But your greetings are very specific.
Yeah. Like, so our greetings as a kid was, in our culture, you would give kisses on the cheeks to every adult. And so you were the child, and you would have to, and you came to a party, and all of a sudden you'd have to saluer, so greet every single adult that was there, and you would give them a kiss on the cheek. And it felt very yucky as a kid. I did not like it. I didn't, and there's nothing that I can say. I know a lot of Haitian people are like, it's, fine, you do it, cool with you, cool. But I know a lot of I've been hanging out with my cousins, and a lot of my cousins have started implementing this with their own kids as well. And I'm okay with handshaking. I'm okay even if I've started with our cousin. I'm not even calling her out because I don't want her family to call her out either. But I have a cousin who, her son came up to me and he was like, "Hi, cousin Jeena." And I was totally fine with that. He didn't need to give me a kiss. He didn't need to give me a hug. I'll ask him for a hug and he will gladly tell me no. And I'm like, that's fine, cool. I don't really need a hug. It's nice to see you. And then I'll go cry somewhere else. But I did not like greeting all my family members. I did not like giving them kisses on the cheeks because you have to get very intimate and very close. And I didn't like it.
I think the American version of that would be giving hugs. So like when we went to parties or family reunions or saw grandma and grandpa or anything like that, it was, hey, go give them a hug. Or, hey, have you given them hugs yet? So I think the American version of that is like giving hugs. And we don't force our kids to give family members hugs either. So like which has been a little weird. I've seen a couple instances with my family where like the family members go to give a hug and Badger specifically is like, no, I'm good. And then they kind of look over at us like,
are you going to make them?
Are you going to make them? Or what do we do? And it's like, she doesn't want to hug right now. And then it just kind of, oh, okay. So like kind of setting that boundary in the moment. But yeah, I think the American version, at least that I can relate to with that, is giving hugs. Like, so we don't force our kids or demand or request or ask our kids to go give family members hugs if they haven't, or if they haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, just saying hi. Like I said, my little cousin came up to me and like, hi, cousin Jeena. I say hi, and I can ask, but they are allowed to say no.
Yeah,
it's a great way to teach children consent.
One thing I'm up in the air about that I was actually thinking about like 2 days ago.
What
is? Do we have our kids? How do we have our kids address adults?
Oh, yeah.
Because I think this is a big hot take here is like, how do you have your kids address adults? Do you have them address them by the first name, by the last name? Do they say Mr. and Miss? How do they do it? And I realized I don't know if we've even decided ourselves. I don't think we've had this discussion.
We haven't.
To how to have our kids address adults. And I don't mean like strangers. I mean like we're going over to a friend's house. And how do we address those friends? And so, like, do they just say first name like Ben and Ashley? Or do they say like Mr. Smith, Miss Smith?
Mr. Ben?
Mr. Ben? Do they say Miss Ashley?
I honestly, even as we're talking about it right now, I don't know if I have a preference. If that adult has a preference, I think I'm okay with it. And as long as it's appropriate, I think I'm fine with it. I don't know if I have a preference.
Yeah.
Do you?
I don't think I've made up my mind on a preference, just because I don't know. Like, for me, like when we were going over, I won't say their names, but we were going over to a friend's house that the kids hadn't met yet, but I had known for a little while and stuff like that. And they're like, who are we going to see? Because we were doing some mushroom stuff for Badger. And I was like, well, this is their name, like Ben Smith and Ashley Smith. And you can call them Mr. and Miss Smith, or you can just say Ben or Ashley. And just so you know, majority of the kids were like, okay, Ben and Ashley. Like, and I don't know if that's because that was the easiest thing or the thing they relate to the most. But even like we have some really close friends that we've been friends with for a long time, and they call them by first name.
Yeah.
But their kids call you Miss Jersey. Miss Jersey?
Or no, one of their kids calls me just Jersey.
Yeah.
Just Jersey. But that's also the child that I like the most.
Yeah.
He's my favorite. I know exactly what you're talking. So yeah, that child.
And so, but we never clearly set, I don't know, rules or definitions between this family of like, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'd like to hear all you guys' thoughts on like, how do you teach your kids to address
other adults,
whether it's strangers, family members sometimes, or people they're just meeting, right?
Yeah. You know what, though? I think for our kids, it truly has been how we address those adults, too. So whatever we call them, if we're continually calling them Jane and John, they just say Jane and John. If we were to say John Smith, they would say John Smith. So our kids have just followed our lead, but also because of the fact that we don't have truly a preference, that they've just also come to the whichever is easiest. So I think for Ben and Ashley, it was oh, okay, I don't want to, like, they give us an option. We'll just pick the shortest. And so I
Yeah.
think that's what it was for them. So, oh, well, I
Yeah,
didn't really think about
I think that's very polarizing. Here is a hot take from Reddit. Hi there. I was wondering what everyone's opinions were surrounding grandparents and other family members kissing your little ones on the lips. My husband and I share a 2-year-old daughter, and she has one grandparent who tends to like to kiss her on the lips from time to time, and it makes me uncomfortable. However, I was raised a bit differently than my husband, and my parents weren't really around a whole lot. However, this specific grandparent also experienced some family molestation as a young child and never seemed therapy, never maybe saw a therapist, which makes me feel really weary because of the stigma surrounding. I don't feel like I'm overreacting, but I wanted to get others' opinions. Do you let your parents kiss your little ones on the lips? Is that normal? I know my mom and dad used to kiss me on the lips, and maybe my grandma did too, but I can't recall and I don't know how I feel about it. This is a good one.
what are your thoughts?
I just read the whole story. But I'll share first. My thoughts are I do feel like there's an age appropriate time. Specifically, I'm thinking specifically between parents and kids. I think there is an age appropriate time, like kissing on the lips is fine. But I feel as your child gets older and older, probably like I would even say, I don't know if I'd go this old, but as old as like 10, 11, where kissing on the lips just feels inappropriate to me. So like even with our 6, 7-year-old right now, like there's every now and then that she like wants to give me a kiss on the lips, right? And sometimes I just go with it, and sometimes I'll have her give me a kiss on the cheek instead. So I'm like starting to create a boundary just naturally of like, hey, we're gonna like start kissing on the cheek. Just like, I don't give them kisses on the lips at their age right now and stuff like that. But I did when they were like tiny little babies, and I'd be like, oh, so cute. I just give them kisses all over and stuff. I also do feel like there's a difference between moms and dads kissing on lips. I just do. Like, I personally, even now, if my mom came up to me and gave me a kiss on the lips, I'd feel a little like, meh. I don't know if I want that, but I wouldn't feel totally disgusted or like I wouldn't feel like it was completely inappropriate. I'd feel like, oh, that's my mom. Like, she doesn't realize how old I am now, right? Whereas if my dad, whereas my dad came up and gave me a kiss on the lips, I'd be like, what are you doing? So I think this is a very complex question. I think there's a lot of factors here. Getting back to like just grandparents specifically, I think that's completely up to the parent's choice. I think it's completely up to a parent. If it makes you uncomfortable as a parent, I would trust that instinct and ask them not to do it. I think it's that simple.
And if they truly love and respect you as grandparents, they would not do it.
Because a kiss on the lips and kiss on the cheek is not that far removed, even physically, right? Like you were saying, kisses on the cheek made you feel uncomfortable growing up, right? There were times
it wasn't
like
the kiss on the cheek. It was kissing all these adults that maybe I saw once a year or really didn't know that was what was comfortable. So I'm in this room. It was too intimate.
Yeah.
So in general, I just did not like going to a bunch of adults, whether or not they were related to me by blood in some type of way. It felt weird.
Yeah. So, and I can definitely understand that. And so with this specific Reddit story, a 2-year-old and grandparent, I don't think it's weird that the grandparent wants to give him a kiss on the lips.
You don't see it as a red flag.
I don't see it as a red flag because they're still pretty young. Like 2 years old is still pretty young. But if the parent's getting uncomfortable with it, then I think the parent should ask the grandparent to stop or give him a kiss on the cheek instead. Like is it lips? Because she's specifically saying lips bother her. If the grandparent were to give a kiss on this child's cheek, it sounds like she would feel better about that.
Okay.
And it may be a compromise between her and the grandparent where the grandparent still feels, granted saying that the grandparent has best intents and there's no history, like she brings up a little history. So I'm coming from the viewpoint that the grandparent is like holistic, has the child's best intent in mind and is not in any way abusing the child or anything like that. for the grandparent to be able to still express their love through a kiss on the cheek should still meet that grandparent's need, but then meet the parent's need that it's not a kiss on the lips.
Okay.
That's kind of where I'm coming from.
I like you said, it's different because right now I don't give my kids kisses on the lips a lot. Maybe Penguin a lot. Because, I don't know.
But he's two. Like he's just squishy still.
But I would say too, like if my kids were like they were uncomfortable with it, immediately stop. I would stop. And then I don't know how I would feel about it as them as adults. Like me giving them kisses as like they're 16, 18, 19, 20, 26. If they were to express any discomfort, I think even as a 30-year-old, and I'm like, I don't know, when Panda's 30, how old will I be? 22 years older than that.
42? 52? Yeah, you're 20-something. I'm thinking how old he is. I was just adding how old he is right now.
Man,
so
when he's 30, I'll only be 52.
Yeah. You're a young mom. I think for me, thinking about it a little bit with you here, I think kisses take on a different meaning, like through that puberty stage and into teenage and then into dating and marriage.
But then it feels like we're almost over-sexualizing it in a way because there are like I said, a lot of cultures definitely like kiss is just it's a greeting.
Right.
And while like I did express how I just felt uncomfortable with it, I don't see it as, I think it's just,
I'm coming from a very American culture, just so you understand.
And it feels like I'm kind of,
for me in American culture, and this is probably why the Reddit reader or the Reddit person is probably from America. That's an assumption I'm making. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I'm coming from a very American standpoint where like to give babies and little baby toddlers like kisses all over and to squeeze their cheeks and kisses on the lips are fine. As they grow older and get more mature, I don't have an exact age, but I knew there is an age where American culture, it becomes inappropriate. And maybe that is because we over-sexualize things. But that's just where we come from.
Yeah, I feel like I'm contradicting myself because I did not like it, but I also felt like it was too intimate. But I can also understand why, like culturally, for some, like kisses and stuff like that. And so I think it should, in the end, come down right now to the parent. I guess that's what I'm gonna say. It should come down to the parent, and if the parents are not okay with it, the grandparents should listen. And then once the child's old enough to express whether or not they're okay with it, then it should be to that child. Because I do know that whether or not I'm okay with it, if my kids were ever expressed like I don't like it or mom, I'm embarrassed by it or whatever, I would just stop. Whether or not I think it's okay, it's not a big deal. My kids expressing that they don't like it, then they don't like it.
Yeah.
Or if I don't think I like it, then I don't like it. It's really good. It's like so important in any aspect of our lives to talk about consent and boundaries and be able, and for people to respect that I know people have a hard time understanding and respecting that. And like there's getting consent in any aspect of life and any event in life still really important. People fail to recognize that that really even though I get it, like that parent saying like, oh, it's just a kiss, or the grandparents just a kiss, and they're not seeing it as a sexual thing, still, if we're not looking at it that way, it's still like we need to think about consent and boundaries. And if a parent saying they're uncomfortable, stop. If a child says they don't want to, they don't like it, I don't think they should be forced. And so I give like our kids kisses on the lips, and if they were to ever express any issues with it, I would stop immediately. But I also don't see it as sexual, but it doesn't mean that other people don't see it as sexual. Right. And I can understand why they would feel uncomfortable. So I guess I'm just seeing the nuance of it all. And but I still, penguin, cow,
I think that's
tiger.
part of
our... my babies. They're just such excitable and so cute.
I mean, I think that's part of our downfall as parents is we typically always see our kids as kids.
Kids, yeah.
And like typically, like I still see Penguin as a baby, and he's almost 3. So,
he's a baby. He's just a baby.
He's a toddler. He's
just a baby.
Full on raging
baby.
break whatever he can, climb stuff.
He is a baby.
Toddler.
Penguin is a baby. He's a baby.
Toddler.
Baby.
Toddler. Young man. He's a young man.
Yeah, right. I want to... Stay away from me. I want you away from me. He's not a young man. He's a baby.
It's toddler. Let's meet in the middle at toddler.
No.
I say young man, you say baby.
Baby.
Meet in the middle at toddler.
I don't meet anyone in the middle. Anywho, we're so glad for you guys to sit and chat with us and listen.
Yeah, thank you guys for being with us.
Hopefully you guys don't hate us too much after listening to this episode.
No, just keep an open mind, and you don't have to do things the way that we do.
Obviously,
but hopefully you come in and leave with some different perspectives and some things to try.
So, alrighty.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Have a great week.